Hello, welcome to Freelancers Coffee Break. In this program, we don't have Ali, but we have Hilal, a freelancer from Greece. She's Turkish originated, but living in Greece. And she's top rated plus on Upwork, or she will be soon at the time of this recording. So by the time you watch this episode, probably she'll be top rated plus. So Hilal, welcome, first of all.
Thank you, Mehmet. Thank you.
Please tell us a bit about your life, what you do as a freelancer, what kind of work you do.
Okay. Thank you for inviting me, first of all. What I do as a freelancer is that anything I can do with my language skills. I studied to be an English teacher. I speak English and Italian. And currently, since I've been living in Greece, I also speak Greek, but I don't work in the Greek language like in professional level yet. What I do, I teach English, I translate, I localize like websites, texts into Turkish. And also in the last years, I've been focusing on content writing, content creation. Basically, I write content in both English and Turkish.
Okay.
Other than that, actually, I also moderate interviews again in both languages. And as I said in the beginning, anything that requires higher level of language skills, that I'm I'm there. I do everything.
Has it been difficult for you as English is not your native language, getting into this, English copywriting and things like that?
To be honest, the opposite. Of course, I'm a native Turkish speaker, but all my life, English has been the language that I've been working with, like academically, at work, everywhere. So, especially when I first started writing content, creating content, naturally it tends to be in English. But it was first difficult to write in my own native language. But now I'm used to it as well. But English, as I said, I don't know, from the high school, in the second year of high school, we used to decide which departments we go to, and I chose language department. Since then, then I went to study Boğaziçi University English language teaching. There also, I never needed to write or read something in Turkish. So all my education was in English. And after graduation, again, I worked as an English teacher. So everything I did was in English. So I can't say that it was difficult to start working in English or writing something in English.
So you mentioned that you were an English teacher. So how did you decide to switch from English teacher to a freelancing career? Why did you make that change?
Yeah, very good question. Because I like actually still teaching English, and I liked being an instructor as well. But it was about lifestyle, let's say, because I used to live in Istanbul, which is a huge city, etc. So I liked what I did in my career, let's say, but I didn't like the way that I lived in there. So I think I'm not a city person. So the biggest reason why initially, I decided to become a freelancer, and long before I became one, I always wanted to be one. It was because of the lifestyle. I wanted to be able to travel whenever I wanted to, and I never wanted to live in a city. I wanted to live just like how I live right now. I live in an island, far from civilization, maybe I can say, but it wouldn't be right to say that. Anyways, my point is I wanted the freedom in life. And how I could get this freedom was through becoming a freelancer, using my skills, which I had the language skills, and I wanted to put them in practice and make money out of it, but in a professional level. So when I first years ago, like when I first found out
Mhm.
about Upwork, I right after graduation it was, and I used to work at the small translation office in Bebek, and I found out about Upwork, and then it was like, wow, I mean, this is right for me. I created a profile back then, and I started working, like taking some projects back then. Probably it was much easier than it is now for the beginners. And but since I already had a job after, like a teaching job, I didn't have enough time to work and become a full-time freelancer, let's say. And also back then I was living, I already lived in
Mhm.
Istanbul, so I mean, working from home didn't really work for me. So, I mean, but I always kept it on the side. I tried like to build a profile there over the years that I was teaching. And then when it was time for me to like move out of Istanbul, and I was fully focused on Upwork. Like I believed in myself and Upwork that, I mean, I could do it like as a career, becoming a professional freelancer there. Which now it's almost been 5 years that I'm just a freelancer. Like I don't work anywhere else where I live, and that's how it happened. Like when I think when you want something and you already invest in it in some ways, then actually you can achieve anything you want as long as you're professional, though.
Mhm. Mhm. So you are living in an island and you're working from home. So what kind of challenges you have as a freelancer? So I don't think everything is very easy there. How is the, for example, internet connection in the island?
That's good. Actually, I never had an issue about that. Thanks God. But the thing is that like when I have the electricity, everything works fine. Internet connection is fast, reliable, and everything. But sometimes, especially during winter, we have storms or when it rains a lot. Then suddenly, like the whole town and the whole village doesn't have electricity, and there's not much I can do about it. But of course, as a backup, if it is not the whole island, like I take my laptop and drive to somewhere with electricity and internet, and I work there. But it didn't happen a lot of times. And with my like writing and translation jobs, like it's okay because I can work anywhere. But when I have lessons, let's say, then yes, I mean I did sometimes like I have to do lessons online lessons from a cafe somewhere else.
What other challenges do you have as a freelancer?
In the beginning, I would say it's not my biggest challenge anymore. In the beginning, of course, like motivating myself to work, or focus on the work, not get distractions and stuff. In the beginning, as I said, it was a bit difficult to plan manage your own time, plan your day. But then I guess like everything else in the world, all other jobs, let's say, you get used to it. Right now, for example, I'm not a person who is very very organized, or like I don't have a strict schedule.
Hmm.
However, I somehow
Mhm.
find the time to do my tasks, like both on my professional tasks, let's say, and my personal tasks. So it could be, for example, very early in the morning that I will be doing something, or maybe very late at night. Also, for example, my partner works offline, like he has a full time job. And I also try to set my schedule according to his schedule because I feel I like working alone at home. So when there's someone at home, it is making it more difficult for me to focus. So that's why I plan my schedule according to his. So when he's at work, then I'm mostly doing the jobs that require so much attention and like concentration, let's say. I often give breaks, but depending on the task also. Like if I have to finish an article, writing an article, then giving a break is not a brilliant idea for me. So I have to finish the task and then I take my break.
So, as of this year, 2023, and you've been doing this job for 5, 6 years by now, how do you see the trend in freelancing compared to past years? Is it going upwards or lower? Is it more easier to find jobs, or so many people are trying to become a freelancer? How difficult or challenging is it to find new clients?
Again, a very good question. Um, it's a complicated one. I'm not sure because actually, COVID, the pandemic had a huge effect on that. And me, for example, it was going very well for me. Like I worked during the COVID-19. Uh, like it was great, my freelance business. But then the next year, it was suddenly a huge drop, but I'm not sure if it was because of the world like freelancer trend or if it was Upwork specifically or like other reasons like the war in Ukraine or other economic financial crisis. Anyways, but right now I see that a lot of people like decide to become freelancer, which is good. Of course, it makes it competitive, but still, it's the free market, And I also think that as much as the people that who want to be freelancers, there is also huge demand from the employers as well. So I believe there's a balance there. But for me, like this year again, it's changing. How I thought is that the quality of the employers on Upwork decreased the last year, and that was upsetting for me. But recently, I see it's getting better again. Hopefully, it's gonna be as it used to be. But it is still upsetting to see some scams, like or some you get invitations from clients that they have zero like experience, and most probably they are scams, or clients that are offering you very low like rates. So I hope like specifically Upwork is going to work on its clients again, let's say.
Mm. Do you use only Upwork, or do you have other platforms, or do you try to find direct clients? Is Upwork your only source of connection for freelancing?
I can say Upwork is almost my only one, other than my direct ones, from my own network or on LinkedIn. I don't work on other platforms because I find Upwork very professional, safe. Like you make sure you get you can see the client reviews that you can decide if you want to work with that client or not. Or what I love about Upwork is that you get paid immediately after you're done with the job. So that's why I focus more on Upwork. But on this side, I have also my own clients. But I would say mostly Upwork.
Okay. What you don't like on Upwork? What would you change if possible?
As tried to say before, I don't know if I was very clear. Upwork made some changes last year and it affected it, I think, negatively, at least for us, for the freelancers. So, what I would change is that I mean, Upwork should be using some kind of filtering for their clients, like not anyone like from anywhere in the world like decides to scam some freelancers and they can post a job on Upwork. Like they shouldn't be letting this happen. Or again, like after that, let's say they allowed someone to post a job and then a new freelancer wants to apply, etc., etc. So they should be protecting the freelancers more, even more, if they actually do, but they should even be doing more so that like they can keep the quality. of both the freelancers and the clients. Actually, the quality makes Upwork such a great place to work.
Mhm. You mentioned shortly about LinkedIn. Do you find clients directly from LinkedIn? Were you able to do that so far?
Yes, but I don't invest in there much either. So, but I believe if you invest enough in LinkedIn, you can also find clients there. But then, as for the payment issues, like it may not be as trustworthy as Upwork because you need to deal with the payment personally. So I did find some clients there, and I got paid as well. But I don't have long-term clients from there, I would say, or few. It's more free there. Like if like you can meet anyone. It is just yeah.
How do you improve yourself? You are in working on this copywriting. How can you improve yourself, learn new things, and so on? How do you manage that and try to find new areas to do with your freelancing career?
Yeah, very good question again. So, but there are two questions, let's say, like how I improve myself is that LinkedIn there comes LinkedIn actually. Like I follow LinkedIn a lot about the current trends in the sector in like in my areas, let's say localization, translation, what's new, like what is being done and so on. And for as for the content writing, same, like it is like you just need to follow the recent changes, trends, or like constantly learn actually because everything changes, especially in content creation, also for translation after the artificial intelligence. Now it's a huge topic. Things change, like you need to follow up with the CEO rules, like you need to change the skills that you have or adapt your skills according to the recent changes. And I mostly use LinkedIn for that actually. Or on up even Upwork job postings show you, if you know how to read it, let's say, even there you can realize the changes or the trends. And for the second question, how I also try to gain some new skills is for, again, like following the news about the changes and everything and seeing the demand. Like for example, I decided to become a content writer, and I didn't know much about it, other than writing articles and papers at the university back then. I was not working as a writer before, but then I saw that like, oh, that's a great area that I can do it. I don't know how to do it yet, but if I learn enough, if I invest in myself enough, then I can do it. And I started like writing, and then you improve yourself. It is the same thing. Like if I see a demand somewhere, it could be on LinkedIn, it could be on Upwork, job postings, using my skills, like with my skills, but I may not have one skill yet, but there might be a demand on that area. So I start reading about it, I watch tutorials, I do some courses online, and then I start practicing, and then I develop a skill. And then after that, I feel I am able to do this. I'm competent enough to offer services in this skill. Then I add it as a skill on my Upwork profile. Then I start looking for custom clients.
Do you have at the moment any long-term goals for your freelance career? What do you want to do? What do you want to do in long term?
Yeah, that's something that I've been having for a long time, but I haven't done it yet. But yeah, I want to have my own agency. Let's say, like the moment I have more clients, let's say, Then I want to have my own agency on my own like language services company, mini company it can start with. Partners like work partners that I work with. So I may still work as a freelancer on Upwork, but I want to build my own like language agency, let's say. That's my long-term goal.
Will it be kind of a translation and copyright agency or just copywriting agency?
As I described in the beginning, I want to be able to offer services that I can with my language skills. So it will include all of it. It will include teaching, even teaching for the teacher trainees, and translation, yeah, of course, and also content writing, that also, of course, and also like localization and other areas that I can do. I will be developing my skills. So I want an umbrella, like a company that I can offer all my skills at one place. So it's not going to focus only on one service, but if it works.
Yeah.
But if like the business doesn't work that way and I need to focus on one thing, I need to choose one thing, which could be the case. I haven't decided it yet. So yeah, maybe I may decide the service that I want to offer, then I'll be just focusing on it.
So, what do you know today? If you knew, the day you started freelancing, what would you have done differently?
Yeah, I always regretted not focusing only on Upwork when I first created my profile there, because there was such a great potential there back then. But I had other teaching jobs, full-time jobs in Istanbul, and if it was me now, like Hilal, as 33-year-old Hilal living in an island now, that I wouldn't be working full time somewhere in Istanbul back then, but I would be just working online on Upwork, because it would, you never know what Upwork is gonna bring you, and you can improve yourself so much working with the right clients. So that's the only thing that I would change. That instead of keeping it as a side job, I would be keeping it as my main job.
So, my last final question would be a bit more personal. So, you're living in an island. What's a daily routine is like living in an island as a freelancer? Is it so much different than living in a big city? What's it like?
It's been a long time now. I forgot about the city routine, let's say. But here, my daily routine starts with like feeding animals. Let's say I have a lot of, I have two cats inside, plenty outside. I have a dog outside. The moment I wake up, like they just want to eat, and then my day starts with feeding everyone, and then taking the dog out for a walk, and then I have my breakfast, and then I sit down to work, and that just keeps going. Other than that, like I use my weekends during the week actually. So it's like weekend that I don't work at all. But if it is summer, I use my breaks for swimming break. Then I just like go to the beach and swim, and then come back and continue working. Or sometimes I take my laptop on the beach, and if I can work there, I work there. So it is really different, I would say, how I used to live in Istanbul. And I think the reason that I live here, and it is natural here, everything. So it doesn't feel like I'm locked in a house, and I'm working from inside, and I don't see daylight and so on. So I think that's gonna be the different part, working and becoming a freelancer, working home from a city, than living some rural area like I do, because I just take a walk when if I feel overwhelmed, and it is very quiet here that I don't have distractions, so that also helps, I believe.
So many people would dream about living in an island. So, is there any difficulty in living in an island?
I've been thinking about it a lot since I moved in here because I'm very happy living in a very quiet place. And especially, it's an island, it's actually even more difficult. And just you say, like, it's not just the electricity sometimes. In summer, everything's fine, perfect. You can get anywhere. But in winter, it is a bit isolated. There are less people, less amenities, and it might be hard to get something here or get out of here, like everything. So a lot of people might think, oh, it's so nice to be working in an island, quiet and so on. It may work for some people who are like me, and it may not work for some other people because I believe there are two types of people. Like some people really enjoy this quietness and the nature, and like me, they can be happy living such a life that I do. But on the other hand, I also understand and respect there are a lot of people who just want to live in a city, who want to see other people, like that's their motivation, or who like the lights, or like even the noise, like they're not bothered by the noise, but on the opposite, like they want to have it. So depending on what type of a person you are, a city person or a village type, let's say, you may either enjoy or get extremely bored here. Because especially in winter, as I said, there's not much you can do here other than natural things, and if you're into it.
So that's about it for my questions. Do you want to add anything? Do you want to tell anything?
Not really, but finding what you want to do and finally achieving that and becoming happy, I think that's the important thing in life. And I can say that like I'm in a good place in my life right now because living in such an island, yeah, it is everything's fine. I like collecting mushrooms, etc. But if I didn't have a job, because there are no jobs here that like you would like to do, and I do what I want to do. I use my professional skills. I work with professional clients and everything. That's also very satisfying, let's say. So combining both a professional life and the lifestyle that you want to have, I think that's not easy to achieve for a lot of people because that's life. But once you achieve, it's good. And then, as you ask the question, what about long term? I think also setting up long term goals, it's also helping us to improve, constantly improve. And that's it, Mehmet. And thanks for inviting me.
Okay, thanks for sparing your time and attending to our podcast for as the second person who we interviewed. Hopefully we'll have more in the future, and wish you all the success and best wishes to Greek islands, and who wants to live in that kind of environment. I'm a city person, but at the same time, I admire and like the idea of living in an island. I don't know how it would be like. Probably I would get bored, but when I hear people are living in islands, and I see, for example, a lot of freelancers living in some islands in Indian Ocean, the Phuket and so on. I just wonder how it would be like, living in those places.
Yeah, you can come here for a few months to try.
Yeah, I'm planning to have an holiday once in a Greek island. I had proposed to my wife on a Greek island, so maybe it would be nice for us to visit another one in near future.
Yeah, yeah, you can come to Samos. It's a very nice one, green one.
Okay, thanks. Bye bye.
Okay, thank you, Mehmet. Have a nice day.